This guy says, oh, I'll be social later. At first, he says, oh, I'll be social next year of high school. Then he says, oh, I'll be social in uni. And then he says, no, I'll be social once I have a job. He said all three of those things over a period, like over 6 months, he would keep changing his mind. And I think that it wasn't anything logical. It was just procrastination because he was probably just scared to get out there socially. Because it's actually really hard to go as somebody who's not going out a lot, you don't hang out with your mates that much, to getting out there, meeting loads of new people, being that really social guy. In this video, I'm going to help you give advice that helps you make really good friends as fast as possible. I'm Finn, and that's what I like to help young men, especially teenagers, do. By the way, bro, if you're interested, only if you trust me enough, I do have a course, the link in the description, and there is a call that you could book to have a chat with me if you're on the fence about buying it. But for now, let me get in the video. So there was a time where I had just gone and I was like, I need to blow up on YouTube because I wanted to leave my school. I had just had like a really poor social experience at the school that I'd moved to in Australia. And my parents didn't want me to leave the school. They were like, no, you have to stay at this boarding school. And in my mind, I was like, okay, maybe if I get a YouTube channel and I blow up and I'm making a bit of money, then surely my parents won't be able to stop me. Maybe I can stop going to this school, try and go to another school. I have a bit of money for myself. This was a massive goal I had. I was super passionate about it, and it brought me some really good because now I know that I'm going to keep uploading videos for a long time. But after a short period of time, I didn't give up, but I stopped uploading consistently because being alone was super hard. And I went on this holiday and I was with some of my good friends for a bit in my hometown where I wanted to move back here. But when I was with those friends, I realized maybe I should just put myself out there a bit more in Australia, in my school where I normally live at. And I did this thing. The only problem was that it's not like the YouTube thing couldn't have worked. If I became really successful, that was a viable plan. It's just that I didn't stick to it for long enough because it's way harder than you think to just become like an entrepreneur who's super successful. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. It's not going to just come overnight, and it's not even if you do everything you can for a month, you might make some money, but you're never going to be making a good amount of money in just 1 month. It's going to take 3 months, 6 months, a year, depending on how hard you work. And I didn't go all in for more than 2-3 months, and I think that was my downfall. But that's not me saying you need to go out there and party and then throw your goals in the bin. That's me saying if you're a hardworking guy, you need to have some friends who you share this goal with. So, for example, I'm planning to train boxing with one of my best mates consistently in the future. Let's hope that this specific guy, because he's one of my closest friends, I hope that he will be down to do that consistently. But I think it's so good to have like a gym bro or somebody you go and work out with consistently. Even if you're not in like the partying scene, you can't just be by yourself. Like you can't be without friends. Humans are group creatures. And so that's why I recommend that if you're a really hardworking guy, or you're just scared to be social and right now you're like busy doing your studying or something, just make a little bit of time and a bit of effort to go out and make new friends. You might be wondering, like, how would I go about being super social? What worked for me, how you can be super social while making good progress. I think that you need to get your social skills to a point where it's like easy to do it, easy to be social every so often, every few weeks. But what I would suggest, I did this for a while, I would not really do anything for a few weeks and then I would do something. And it's easier once you already have built your friend group. Like if you have a great friend group and then there's like a party that you get invited to every week and you're super social and you're super popular, and then you're like, nah, but I'm working for a few weeks. That's the golden spot to be. That you're always invited to shit, but you're like, nah, I can't come, I can't come. And then every like 3 weeks or a month, you and your friend who you normally work really hard with, you're like, nah, we're going out tonight. And then you have like an amazing night, you're social, if you want, you go drink. And I think that that's the best way to manage this like social stuff. You need like some regular interaction, you're going to gym, but not something that will completely derail your progress. Not video game friends, bro. Real friends you hang out with in real life who won't just binge drink, like who are actually good people to be around. That's why socializing gets such a bad rep. All these entrepreneurs are like, oh, you got to cut them all off. I think that's so stupid if you actually just had a few hardworking friends. Now, I remember about 1 year ago, I was feeling super awkward. I was lonely, you could say, but I would still hang out with friends here and there, just not as much as I would like. And I went on holiday and I was like, nah, this is my month. I'm going to be going out a shit ton. And for the first 3 weeks, so I was on a 6-week holiday here. The first 3 weeks, I would just box. I would hang out with my family, and I had like a concert that was on. I didn't go and drink there. At that time, I was like trying to manage YouTube and like gym and training a shit ton with having a social life, and it works. But it's obviously not the perfect scenario when you have like so many social events going on. You've got a party every weekend or something, and you're also trying to work hard. That's a little bit difficult. But I remember 3 weeks in this holiday, I started finding it super easy to be super social and meet loads of people whenever I wanted. That led up to the next 3 weeks being the best 3 weeks of my life, bro. I was going out with the boys so much. And the thing is, you might be thinking like, oh, that's bad, you weren't productive in that time. Yeah, you're right. But then after I had done that period, if I just maintained the friend group, because unfortunately I did this overseas, so the friends that I got closer with, I couldn't see often. But if I had done this in where I live, which I proceeded to do to an extent, which helped as well. But when I did this overseas, if I stayed there, then it would have been easy. Okay, I'm going for dinner with my friend this weekend, but then I'm not going to go out for 2-3 weeks. And then this guy's invited me to this party. It just happens when you get out there, you're social, and you just start randomly getting invited to things. But trust me, bro, I went on this, like, you go on these phases where for a month or two, or depending on if you've never been social before, maybe half a year, you're just like trying to plan as many social things as possible, especially while you're young and you can easily get away with it. And it's super easy to meet people before you're like 30. Or it's definitely easier before you're 25 when you're in uni and like everybody goes out a lot. But if you just spend a few months or whatever time period you think is appropriate doing as much social stuff, you reach out to all of your friends, you start going out, you start meeting new people, you go to a sports club, and you're meeting people and you're making the time when there's invites. Because trust me, there's so much you can do, but it only comes to you when you've like opened your mind. Like every few weeks or every few months, you'll get like this lucky opportunity. I remember once I was being very social for about 3-6 months. And then one day, this girl put on her Insta story, oh, like I'm having a party. I asked my friend to get me an invite. And I remember I went by myself this time because my friend ended up not being able to come with me. But that was like the best, one of the most life-changing experiences because I got to meet so many people, even though it was awkward, even though I was by myself. Like that was my lucky opportunity to meet so many people, and I took it. But imagine if my mind was closed to, no, I'm working right now, so I can't go to any parties. Then when the parties come up, which is like your lucky day, your opportunity to make 3 months worth of progress in one night, then you would have said no. And so that's why I recommend just having one phase where you just go out and be social. Don't say, oh, I'll just be social later, bro. Do it now, because once you do it, you only really need to do it once, and then you change socially as a person forever, and it becomes easy to make friends wherever you go. It's like something you kind of tick off as a box. Like, of course, it's going to get awkward again, but once you make some friends and you regularly hanging out with good people, then you never lose your social skills. Now that I have closer boys that I have hanging out with regularly, we get dinner, pretty much on the weekly for the last year or so, and then a friend who we hang out every Tuesday and Saturday. Doing that, it means that I never get like super awkward. It's never hard to meet new people if I go out randomly on a party. It's more difficult because I'm not doing it as much. But trust me, bro, once you finally set up that like consistent, like solid good friends, then you can actually work hard and be social. Because the weirdest thing that no one tells you, when you have good friends, it's easier to work hard. They hold you accountable. Thank you for watching this video, bro. If you want more help, well, I mentioned here, let me go a bit more into it. You can leave the video if you're not interested, but I have my course, and then you can book a call with me for 30 minutes if you're on the fence about buying or you're not sure what value you might get. And I'm happy to do that right now because my audience isn't massive yet, so I have the time to give calls to people who are like slightly interested. In the future, I won't be giving a free call to people. It's definitely like quite time consuming, but I'm super happy to talk with people in my audience because it's my passion. And maybe I tell you something that could really help you. Maybe when we speak, I can see something that you can't. So if you're interested in this, bro, you know where the link is. The link in the description will show you to my course, and then there's a link you can book a call with me if you're thinking about buying. It's got a full in-depth guide on how to make good friends from step 0 to step 20. I've got my full method that I use when I'm like going out to a social event, like my method of being super social, the mental process. I walk you through that. And thank you for watching this video, bro. Have a good day.